Video number 114, graphing a parabola with a horizontal axis. Let's take a look at the equation. X plus 1 equals y plus 2 quantity squared. Hopefully you recognize that this is definitely a quadratic. It's going to be of this shape right here. I'm going to go ahead and write it down for you. It's going to be basically x equals y squared is the mother graph of this. Now what does that graph look like? It's going to be this. It's going to have an origin, a vertex at the origin, 1 comma 1, but then 1 comma negative 1 is also on the graph, and instead of it being 2 4, it's going to be 4 2. And instead of negative 2 4, it's going to be 4 negative 2. So it's going to be basically an inverse of y equals x squared. So instead of it going upward, it's going to go in the eastern direction. All right. That's the mother graph. So this is going to be an east-west graph is the whole point of that idea. The center is at -1, -2. And here's how you figure that out. Whatever zeroes out the squared, that's what you plug in. -2 gives you a 0 here. So you plug a -2 for y. That gives you a 0. Then, of course, if you minus 1, you get x is -1. So -1 for x whenever y is -2. Then we plug in 1 away from -2. 1 away from -2 puts us on -3 and -1. -3 is 1 lower than -2. -1 is 1 above -2. When you plug those two in, you get plus or minus 1 squared. Think about it. -3 plugged in here, -1 there. You're going to get plus or minus 1 squared. That's going to give you a 1 minus the 1, 0. X is 0 whenever y are those two. So 0, -1, 0, -3. Now, this is going to be the underlying theme of what we're going to do in video number 114 and video 115, so make sure you understand this concept. Okay? Now we're going to go what? 2 away from -2. So notice how you go 1 away from -2, you get plus or minus 1s. 2 away from -2, you're going to get plus or minus 2s. So we're going to plug a 0 and a -4 in for y. Right over there. Okay, that'll give you a plus or minus 2. Then we're going to get x is 3 when this happens. This is a 4, then minus the 1, so you're going to get a 3 for x. Right here. Whenever y is, excuse me, that should be a 0 and a -4. That's the beautiful thing about Microsoft Word. A little copy and paste. But of course, that's the downfall. You got to go back and delete the old ones and change to the new. So I think we're in good shape. All right. Bam. Now, we have -1, -2 is the vertex. We've got 0, -1, 0, -3. These were the quote-unquote 1s. These are the quote-unquote 2s. All right, we just got done doing the 2s, and this is where I messed up. Okay, now, we're going to go ahead and graph these 5 points. -1, -2. Right there. 0, -1. 0, -3. Right there. 3, 0, 3, -4, right here. All right, then there's our quadratic. Of course, it's going to the right. We kind of knew that based on the mother graph heading towards the right. All we basically did was move to the left 1 and down 2 with the vertex. Everything else stayed the same. All right. Now, if you want to, you can go back and check out a graphing quadratic video. I forget which number it is, but look back. If you remember, we went to the right 1 and right and left 1 up 1. Then we went to the right and left 2 and up 4. So it was 1 1 2 4, 1 1 2 4, 3 9 3 9. Well, it's the same thing except you have the inverse. So now it's going to be up 1 right 1, down 1 right 1, up 2 right 4, down 2 right 4. This pattern will fit because there's a 1 in front of the y plus 2 squared. Next one, here it is. X minus 4 equals to half times y minus 1 squared. Again, the center is at 4, 1 because you plug a 1 in for y. That zeroes out the squared plus the 4, 4, 1. Now, plug 1 away from 1. 1 away from 1. 0 and 2. That gives you a plus or minus 1. Half of that's half. Plus 4. 4.5. Right there. Now, go 2 away from 1. 2 away from positive 1 puts us on -1 and 3. Okay, 2 away from from 1. That's just a big scratch out. Okay? Now, this gives us x minus 4 equals half times plus or minus 2 squared. Alright? So when you do that, you get 4. Half of 4 is 2. 2 plus the 4. This should be, is that a 6? Let's see, let's do this again. 2 squared is 4. Half of 4 is 2. 2 plus 4. That should just be a 6. There you go. There's the teacher making mistakes. This is nice. So just cross that out. There you go. So 6 comma negative 1 and 6 comma 3. Now, we'll go ahead and graph these 5 bad boys here. And let's cross out the half. That's what's the best part of teaching, is when you're teaching it, you know if you got the right answer while you're teaching it. Alright. Bam. We're in good shape. Okay, let's go ahead and graph these 5 points. We should have a symmetrical situation. 4 comma 1. 4.5 comma 0. 4.5 comma 2. Right here. 6 negative 1. 6 3 and right there. Now, there's your parabolic shape. Of course, you could keep going. You could keep going. What could you do after this? If you wanted to, you could plug in 3 away from 1. What's 3 away from 1? 4 and negative 2. That'll give you a plus or minus 3. So you'd end up with x minus 4 equals half times, you see why I typed these up, plus or minus 3 squared, and you would just go from there. So that would, of course, land you over here, you know, somewhere over here on the right side. Now, that's the deal with video number 114. So we're graphing parabolas using horizontal axis. Now in video 115, we're going to take a look at completing the square. So you're definitely going to need to know this in order to do 115. Good luck, good times. Talk to you later.